Welcome back to the second part of Plasmodium. For a quick recap, we have seen the life cycle of Plasmodium in human economy, where we have seen the sexual mode of reproduction, where the number of Plasmodium was getting increased or multiplying at two places, that is in the liver and in the RBC. Now, after the Plasmodium has undergone repeated cycles of asexual reproduction in RBC, they at some stage will form gametes. So, asexual multiplication is difficult, and that is how the formation of gametocytes occur. They transform, that is the merozoite being released from the RBCs or the bursting RBC. They'll form a sexual form that is known as gametocyte, and these gametocytes, unlike merozoites, will not enter into RBC to repeat the cycle. Now, these gametocytes are of two kinds, which is known as microgametocyte and macrogametocyte. So, this is the initial stage or the first step for the sexual cycle to begin. This formation of gametocyte basically occurs in RBC, and only the matured form of these gametocytes will appear in the flowing blood. Usually, the maturation takes around 4 days, and this form of Plasmodium, that is in the form of microgametocyte and macrogametocyte, is the infective form for the mosquito. Now, let's roll back to where the lecture started, and I said that the primary host for Plasmodium is mosquito. So there are two hosts involved, the mosquito as well as the human. Humans do have a sexual mode of reproduction, whereas in mosquitoes they show sexual mode of reproduction. Now, looking at this diagram, we'll be able to understand how these gametocytes are formed. So, the sporozoites which entered by the mosquito bite, they enter into the liver, where these sporozoites get converted into a trypozoite with multiple divisions. It releases merozoites. These merozoites, in turn, will release will be released in the blood circulation, and where they will enter into the RBCs. Again, in RBC, they transform and multiply and form merozoites. Few of these merozoites will mature in an RBC to form gametocytes. Also, this pic you can see the different types of gametocyte as they are visible in the various species. And you can see that the sickle shape is present in Falciparum, whereas oval shape are present in Vivax, Ovid, and Malaria. Have a fine look at this. We have already discussed what the cycles are. Now we need to see that what happens to these gametocytes. As this mosquito will again feed on human blood, the gametocyte will enter into the gut of mosquito, And how does it enters? That is through the ingested blood. This ingested blood will contain RBC, and the breakdown of this RBC in the gut of mosquito will release gametocyte. Now, these gametocytes will undergo a cyclical change or a life process which is known as cycle of Ross. It is usually takes 7 to 10 days and is usually completed, or the various stages of its completion can be divided in three parts, the names of which are written like gamogamy, gamogony, syngamy, and sporogamy. We can also differentiate basis of the location. It is gamogony and syngamy occurs in the midgut, whereas sporogamy occurs in gut wall. Let us start with gamogamy. Gametocyte give rise to haploid gametes, that is, the gametes which were formed in the humans are basically haploid in nature. This microgamy are long, flagellate, and motile, whereas the macrogametes are non-motile and non-flagellated. Formation of macrogamy is simple maturation process which undergoes meiotic division, forming a macrogamy and three polar bodies, which are also referred as polocytes. So there would be a formation of single haploid cell from the meiotic division of macrogamy, whereas the microgamete will give rise to multiple micro. This microgametocyte will give rise to multiple microgametes. Formation of microgamete complex process that is known as exflagellation. These microgametes undergo meiotic division followed by mitotic division, forming 8 haploid nucleus. So it's quite understandable. Microgametocyte will undergo meiotic division to form 4 cells, and these 4 cells will undergo mitotic division to form 8 cells. Centriole replicates and form 8 daughter centrioles. Centriole transform into kinetosomes associated with nucleus to form flagellum. Microgamete divide into 8 fragments, each with a nucleus, flagellum, and mitochondria. Shortly detach themselves as actively moving microgametes. So, from a single microgametocyte, 8 microgametes would be formed. Next stage is syngamy. It basically occurs in the gut cavity of mosquito, where microgamete and macrogamete take their final form. Microgamete comes in contact with stationary macrogamete, fused together to form a diploid zygote. This fusion of gametes is known as syngamy, which involves both plasmogamy and karyogamy. It's quite understood. Plasmogamy is fusion of cytoplasm. The karyogamy is fusion of nucleus. Fusing gametes of Plasmodium are dissimilar and isogamous because the shape and size of both the gametes is different. So the term used is an isogamy. The third stage, that is sporogamy, is division of zygote, which occurs in the salivary gland, occurs in the gut wall of mosquito. During this, the salivary gland would be the final destination from where the sporozoids would be dispersed. So this asexual multiplication of zygote will start in the gut wall of mosquito. During this, rounded immobile zygote transforms to elongated actively moving form ookinete. So zygote transforms into ookinete, which pierces the gut wall and becomes encysted to form oocyst. This oocyst will grow to form sporon. Sporon undergoes repeated mitotic division to form sporozoites. So a single sporon may form more than 10,000 sporozoids. This whole process of division of zygote is known as sporogon. Sporozoids mature to form spindle-shaped form. The cyst formed around the oocyst releases will rupture and release the sporozoids, enters into the hemolymph and reaches the part of the mosquitoes other than the ovaries. Large number of these sporozoids will accumulate in the salivary gland, and hence when the mosquito bites a man, large number of sporozoids enter into his blood. So this is how it looks like. We'll just concentrate on the cycle of Ross, where the micro and the macro gametes were ingested and have reached the gut. Maturation of microgamete and macrogamete will occur, which will cause syngamy and zygote would be formed. This zygote in the gut wall will convert into ookinete and oocyst would be formed. This oocyst will transform into sporon. Sporon will transfer into sporozoites, and these sporozoites will be released in the hemolymph. Majority of them would be stationed somewhere in the salivary gland, and when the mosquito again will bite a fresh human being or a new, I would say, a non-infected human being, so that will release the sporozoites and the asexual cycle, the cycle of present in human, which is also referred as uh, pre-erythrocytic cycle and erythrocytic cycle together, or the asexual cycle will start. Now considering the various species of Plasmodium, that was all about the life cycle, but they do have some differences in the species, that the duration, the incubation period, relapsing, or the nature of disease form is different from one species to other, and we need to understand that too. As you remember, in the first lecture, I told you that Plasmodium falciparum is one of the most lethal forms of the species, which accounts for the majority of death, and the severity of disease is also too high. It is one of the most dangerous of all the malaria parasites, which accounts for 50% of all malaria cases. It causes malignant tertian malaria. Symptom appears 9 to 14 days after initial infection. Parasitemia levels are extremely high. Up to 65% of erythrocytes get infected. Schizon grow in liver cell. Schizon rupture in around 5.5 days, releasing 30,000 merozoites. Schizons are more asymmetrical than other Plasmodium species. Infected RBCs can attach to uninfected RBCs, forming rosettes. Rosettes can block venules. Rosette formation is clumping of RBCs. Falciparum tropozoites secrete protein that causes deformation of erythrocyte, and Falciparum tropozoite extend pseudopodia, but are not as active as Plasmodium vivax tropozoites. Here the RBC size remains normal, and Muir's dot can be seen through 9 large red spots, sometimes basophilic stippling, dark brown or blackish one, and gametocyte crescent shape. Gametocytes are usually crescent shape as compared to the gametocyte of other species which are spherical, larger than the red cell, which is around 9 to 10 microns, whereas RBC is 7 to 8 microns. Male and female would be around 12 to 14 microns. Next is Plasmodium vivax. How does they differ? Trophozoites of Plasmodium vivax are much more motile than other Plasmodium. So, the motility of Plasmodium vivax trophozoites, or the mature growing part of Plasmodium, is much more as compared to that of other species. This mortality caused Italian researchers to nickname it "Wes", is the Italian word for quick and lively. The usual location is the temperate zone, and it's most common in Asia, North Africa, but not so common in tropical Africa. So Africans have a natural resistance to this form of malaria. Usually. Schizones are formed in the liver cell and are released at 10,000 merozoites upon maturation. Trophocytes cannot penetrate mature red cell. In addition, merozoites can only penetrate RBCs with mediated receptor sites. Receptor sites are genetically determined, conferring resistance. So, Africans who have a natural resistance, because these RBCs do not have receptors, Africans raise their RBCs will not have receptors to accept or allow the merozoites to enter in them. A defining characteristic of Plasmodium vivax is the development of hypnozoites. Hypnozoid causes relapse of malarial infection. Usually, the gametocytes are rounded in shape, and the appearance of Plasmodium vivax gametocyte can occur only after one erythrocytic cycle. It's not necessary that many erythrocytic cycles would be required. The type of malaria caused is benign tertiary malaria. Symptoms appear somewhat 12 to and 18 days after initial infection. Number of neurozoites 12 to 24, arranged in a grape-like cluster. The RBCs get enlarged. There is a particular pigmented body present, which is known as Shepard's dot. Yellow-brown fine granules can be seen, which are definitely Shepard's dot. As we have discussed, the gametocytes are spherical in nature, and you can see the size variation. It shows clearly that the gametocytes are much larger than the RBC. Next comes the Plasmodium malariae. The type of fever caused is cotton malaria, which causes paroxysms to return in every 72 hours. It is cosmopolitan but does not have continuous distribution. It is found in many regions of tropical Africa, Asia, South America, and even Europe. It is thought to be the only Plasmodium organism that lives in wild animals. Parasitemia levels are very low, one parasite per 20,000 RBCs. Symptoms may appear after 18 to 40 days after initial infection, that is, from the first bite of mosquito. The symptoms to appear. It can be a very long period of time, around 18 to 40 days. Here, the pigmented granule present is known as Zeeman stippling. It is dark brown and coarse granule. Gametocytes are spherical in nature, and usually their size is larger than the RBC. Last is Plasmodium ovale. It is one of the rarest of the four malaria parasites. Fusarian malaria, the type of malaria caused is Fusarian malaria. Symptoms usually appear after 12 to 18 days of infection. The region where it is predominantly found is Philippines, New Guinea, Vietnam, India, or sometimes Africa also. It is very difficult to diagnose due to similarity Plasmodium vivax. Gametocytes are longer to appear in blood. than those of other species. That means after repeated cycle of or the after repeated erythrocytic cycle, only the gametocytes will appear in blood. It contains coarse granules which are known as Shaffer's dot. They fill almost three-fourths of the RBC, the neurozoids, and usually the gametocytes take longer time to appear in blood circulation, and also they are spherical or globular in shape. Now the transmission of this plasmodium. Natural malaria is induced by sporozoid, which is obviously transmitted by female Anopheles mosquito, the bite of female Anopheles mosquito. Trophozoite or merozoite induced malaria, that is the mature form of plasmodium, which are actually uh, can be transferred from blood. So, how is that possible? It is possible by transfusion malaria, that is transfusion of infected donor blood, malaria in drug addicts, that is sharing of the same needle, and that is how it can spread. And congenital malaria is very rarely from mother to a fetus. So obviously the transmission occurs through sporozoites, maximum number of times. Only a few number of cases can present the transmission to trophozoite or merozoite as they are present in circulating blood, and if in any circumstance there is contact of blood or exchange of blood, this can happen. Now their pathogenesis and clinical feature. Their clinical sign of malaria can be attributed to two factors. It is the host inflammatory response, which causes production of chill and fever, correlated with maturation of myelozoites and rupture of RBC. The rupture of RBC is the point where you experience chill and fever. Toxins released from burst RBC can stimulate secretion of human necrosis factor by macrophages. Overproduction of TNF and toxicity can cause most or all of the malarial symptoms. So you can relate this. RBCs will burst. That marks the presence of the symptoms. And why are these symptoms produced? Because this bursting will release TNF, that is human necrosis factor, and overproduction of TNF, human necrosis factor, will produce the symptom. Anemia is caused by destruction of RBCs. Usually, the incubation period or pre-patent period, time taken from infection to symptom. Plasmodium falciparum 6 to 12 days, Plasmodium vivax 10 to 17 days, Plasmodium ovale 12 to 16 days, and Plasmodium malariae 12 to 28 to 30 days. This is the longest period of time. Benign malaria. How do we see benign malaria? It's milder in nature, caused by all the four species, characteristic by febrile paroxysms, anemia, and splenomegaly. Febrile paroxysm means the temperature coming and dropping would be a cyclical process after a certain period of time. Fever comes depending on species. It occurs every fourth day. There is 72-hour cycle for Plasmodium malaria and every third day 48-hour cycle for other species. Paroxysms correspond to release of successive broods or the new generation of merozoite into the bloodstream at the end of every RBC cycle. That's it. We'll discuss the next part of Plasmodium. Thank you.